Hey guys, so we got a lot of breaking news here. Let me just make sure my mic's on. Okay. So we got a lot of breaking news here in regards to Biden dropping out of the race. It is now being reported by multiple people that Biden, number one, is going to drop out. Number two is going to drop out as soon as this weekend. There was even an article on Fox News that said that Biden would actually drop out tomorrow. I'm not so sure if that's true, but the weekend definitely sounds more realistic. Overall, let's make no mistake here. Biden's dropping out. It's happening, okay? It's absolutely happening. Biden is going to drop out. He is not going to run again. The calls are just too strong. It is incredibly clear that the Democratic Party does not want Biden to run. They want him to step aside. He's been fighting them. But as we all know, when it's one person against many, typically the many end up winning in the end. And that's what's going to happen. Many of the people in power against the one guy, they're going to eventually get their way, and Biden's going to drop out, okay? They're saying it's going to happen this weekend. Let's go ahead and pull up this tweet right here. It says right here, breaking news. Multiple sources outlined the apparent state of play on Biden at this time. Plans to announce withdrawal from nomination as early as this weekend, with Sunday most likely. Then it says a little bit down here, Biden will not resign the presidency, okay? So he's still going to remain president. He's going to drop out of the race and say, well, you know what? I'm not going to be the nominee. I'm going to step aside, let somebody else get the chance, but I'm still going to be president. I'm not resigning the presidency. Here's another key thing. The tweet also says Biden will not endorse Kamala Harris. Now, that's huge, and we're going to explain that in deep detail, but first I want to show you guys something. Poly Market. This is actually the betting market. This is the betting market for politics. And right now it says that Biden has an 86% chance of dropping out of the presidential race. I'm actually surprised it's that low. I would expect it to be 99% at this point. In my opinion, there's no doubt in my mind that Biden is going to drop out. And I actually think he's going to drop out pretty soon, to be honest with you. The calls are just growing too much. But I do want to add in a little bit of comedy here because I do think that this is funny. So obviously, as we all know, basically every major Democrat wants Biden to drop out, right? You've got Obama behind the scenes. He wants Biden to go. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all these big billionaire donors who donate to the Democratic Party are like, we're closing our checkbooks unless you get him out. We are not giving you any more money. We do not want him. Everybody and their freaking grandmother in the Democratic Party who has some sort of power or is an elected official wants to get reelected, whether it is as a senator or House rep, wants Biden to drop out. But turns out Biden actually has two people who still have some sort of power who actually want him to stay in the race. That's right, guys. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, the two people who nobody likes, especially Hillary Clinton. Nobody likes Hillary. Maybe Bill a little bit. I guess people do like Bill Clinton, I guess, but Bill Clinton's just kind of, in my opinion, kind of irrelevant. I don't know what he's doing these days. I don't really hear much about him when it comes to certain conversations. But hey, that's okay, guys. Even though everybody else hates Biden, at least former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton likes him. The girl that everybody, come on, y'all. Y'all know this. Everybody hates Hillary. Hillary couldn't even beat Trump in 2016. Literally lost. She's been bitter ever since. But yeah, these are literally the only two people who have spoken out and have made pleas to the donors asking them to please stick with Biden. But here's the crazy part, guys. I actually agree with Hillary. I really do. As crazy as it sounds, I actually think they should stick with Biden. In my opinion, we're just way too close to the election for Biden to drop out. It just doesn't make it's stupid. It's not a good strategy. And I'll tell you guys why. I know some of you guys are going to disagree with me in the comments. I'm going to make it clear where I feel about this. My issue with the Democrats is they don't have a plan of who's going to replace Biden. I know some of you guys think, oh, it's going to be Kamala. The Republican Party certainly thinks that it's going to be Kamala, but it's clear that it's not Kamala because if you've really been paying attention, what's happening is you have all these people saying Biden needs to drop, Biden needs to drop, Biden needs to drop. They are not saying her name. They're not even naming who the replacement is going to be. Not one person. All these people saying they quietly told Biden, you need to step aside. They're telling the media Biden needs to drop. It's time for president to step down. But they're not saying, hey, you should step down and let Kamala run. Nobody's saying that. They're all saying you should step down. You should be able to pick that up of what they're really trying to say here. What they're really trying to say here, at least in my opinion, they don't want Biden or Kamala. That is really what's happening here. And I understand why they don't want Kamala. Kamala is just not that great of a candidate. She's not going to win. However, the problem is black people have a lot of power in the Democratic Party. You got the Congressional Black Caucus. You have some people, like, for example, Representative Jim Clyburn in what is that, South Carolina? He actually saved Biden during the Democratic primary back in 2020. He gave Biden this endorsement. Biden wasn't doing so hot at first in the primary. He endorsed Biden. Biden won South Carolina. And then the rest was pretty much history. He really helped Biden's campaign back when things were competitive in 2020, for those who remember. The bottom line is there are a couple black representatives, or just black Democrats, period, who have a pretty good amount of power, including former President Barack Obama. He's not even mentioning Kamala Harris, which is crazy. But anyway, I think it's going to be nuts, because what's going to happen is you're going to have what's called a brokered convention. That's what's going to happen. Kamala could still win, but I think it's beyond obvious that they don't want Kamala. So I don't know who they're going to try and go for. I don't know if they're going to try to get Wes Moore or Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know. But my biggest issue is they don't have a plan. Also, I said this in my last video. I'll say it again. Biden has a $250 million war chest. He has thousands of campaign staffers. He has thousands of offices, campaign offices. By law, if they don't allow Kamala to take the mantle when Biden steps aside and become the nominee, they're not going to get access to that $250 million war chest, because that money did not go to the DNC. It went to the Biden-Harris campaign. This is so stupid. The only way that I would think that this is a good idea is if Biden steps aside and they bring up Kamala. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Kamala's not going to win. You know Kamala's not going to win. Trump knows Kamala's not going to win. But at least you have a fighting chance, as opposed to just having this crazy chaos. And now you're trying to run on. And obviously, Kamala's going to run too. Kamala's not stepping down. You can say all you want, that other tweet I pulled up, oh, Biden's not going to endorse Kamala. Okay, that don't matter. She wants to be president. She's going to run. Whatever happens at the convention, however that process goes, she's going to put her hat in the ring. She's going to go for it. So, to me, it's just ridiculous that they're saying all this stuff about Biden should step aside, and they're not making it clear that Biden should step aside and Kamala should take over. I don't know why they're not saying that. It's crazy. I mean, I do know why. They don't want Kamala. That's writings on the wall, folks. Let me look at this last tweet right here. So from Matt Fuller, it says Democrats expect Biden to at least indicate this weekend that he's dropping out. And if he doesn't indicate it soon, expect more leaks and calls for him to step aside from members of Congress. In short, the beatings will continue until morale improves. Now, again, I was explaining this to you guys in the last video. What I honestly believe is happening is they try to say behind the scenes, Biden, you need to step aside. Mr. Biden, Mr. President, you need to step aside. He's like, I won't step aside. They said, okay, we're just going to slowly keep leaking stuff of all these big names that are trying to get you out of here. The donors don't want you. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want you. Chuck Schumer doesn't want you. The polls are showing that you have no chance of winning. Trump is destroying you. You're old. Blah, blah, blah. They're just keep leaking stuff to the press, keep putting a beating on him in the press until he feels enough pressure to step down and resign. And again, I have to make this extremely clear. I do not blame the Democrats for wanting Biden to step aside. I completely understand why they want Biden to step aside. My issue is, number one, they knew for years that Biden was suffering cognitive decline, and they continued to sweep it under a rug and hide it and act like it wasn't happening until stuff really hit the fan in that last debate. Now they're running around with chickens with their freaking head cut off, have no idea who's going to replace Biden. You got no plan. You just look stupid, and you're literally going to lose the presidency. I actually think Trump might win pretty easily, to be honest with you. So it's a really sad state of affairs. But yeah, it's just there's no plan. And man, it sucks because I'm a Democrat, like I want Democrats to win, but we just got to be honest. The Democrats really screwed this up, guys. They really did. And now everything's going to be a mess. The Democratic Convention, which is here in Chicago, it's going to be a mess. And I don't know what's going to happen, but the Republicans are enjoying every bit of this because, in my opinion, the Democrats should have been seeing this. They should have had the foresight to have seen this. And you guys got to remember, too, when they ran the primary just recently, when they ran the Democratic primary for this election, if you guys remember, they made everybody step aside. They weren't even giving people a chance. They made it so that the only options you had was Robert F. Kennedy and Marianne Williamson. They didn't let anybody else run. They didn't even do a debate for the Democratic primary. They didn't even debate. Biden never debated Marianne Williamson or Robert F. Kennedy. They didn't do anything. They literally said, everybody sit down, shut up. Biden's our guy, and we're going to rig everything so Biden could go through. And now they're suffering what's called karma. This is the karma you get, because one thing I will give the Republicans, they ran a fair primary. They let everybody who wanted to run, and Trump destroyed them all, but they still ran a fair election. The Democrats didn't do that. Now they're getting their karma. It's just a freaking mess. Anyway, I think Biden is going to drop out very soon. I don't know if it'll be this weekend, but I think it's imminent. He is eventually going to drop out. If they don't immediately say Biden's out, Kamala in, it's going to be chaos. Seriously, it's going to be chaos. But yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'll continue to give you guys updates as I see them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.